Something very odd happened in the opening weekend's fixtures of the newly formed Premier League in 1992. Every big club in Premier League history completely bottled it. None of them won. Some even lost their opening game. You can understand one, maybe two, but every single one of them failing to win in the opening weekend's fixtures. Now you may not believe me, so let's take a look at those results to see where it all went wrong for the biggest Premier League clubs in history. First up is Arsenal, who were at home to Norwich City. Now, that was a lot tougher than it may sound. Norwich were actually a really strong team in the early Premier League years. But to lose 4-2 at home is quite something. And even more remarkable considering Arsenal were actually 2-0 up at half-time before completely bottling it. In fact, Arsenal would go on to lose their first two opening Premier League games in quite an unremarkable season where they finished mid-table. Even Manchester United, the eventual Premier League champions, lost away to Sheffield United. But they weren't the only ones. Liverpool, who had defined English football for the previous decades, also lost, this time to Nottingham Forest. So three of the biggest clubs in English football all lost their first ever Premier League match. It's quite incredible. But it doesn't end there. Chelsea drew at home to Oldham. Although it's fair to say that Chelsea weren't the same force that they are today, but they would still expect to win at home to Oldham. Manchester City, who also definitely weren't the powerhouse they are now, also drew at home to QPR. Spurs also played out a 0-0 draw away to Southampton. Even Blackburn, who would go on to win the Premier League a couple of seasons later, also drew away to Crystal Palace. Other big clubs at the time, like Aston Villa, who would be runners-up in that first ever Premier League campaign, also drew, as did Sheffield Wednesday, who were also quite a big club back then. So did any big club win on that opening weekend? Well, Leeds United, who were reigning champions in English football, the last domestic league winners before the launch of the Premier League, did manage to win as they beat Wimbledon at home. Oh, and Coventry City also managed to beat Middlesbrough. So given the launch of this flagship league, it's amazing that all the big clubs we now associate with giants of world football, all managed to stumble on that opening weekend of the Premier League. Thanks for watching Pixel Football. You can really help the channel by giving this video a like and subscribing. I'd also love to hear your memories of 90s football. Is there anything you miss about that era? I'd really love to hear them.